y'all, scrolling along with Susan. I'm back in the workshop with another scroll saw project. This time I'm going to be using some of my rounds that I have made in a previous video, if you'd like to check that out. These are two 10.5-inch rounds, one of maple and one of walnut. And this is going to be my backing for a Kokopelli design. Now, Kokopelli is a very old native Southwest American symbol that I will explain a little bit later on what that's all about. But I'm going to be using this as my background, and my Kokopelli is going to go on the front of it with a design on the background. I'm going to use double-sided tape, attach both of these, and cut out a pattern that's similar to this. It's got a little bit of a sun, it's got some slants here in the background. I'm going to have the grain going this direction, and I'm going to be using the grain, like I'll probably put the sun over here because that looks like it makes a little bit more sense. I've decided to use a little bit of lighter color so I can see better. And I'm just going to draw right on this because you know, it'll come off easily if I use pencil. So I'm just going to draw the shape of the sun first to give me a basis on where I go from here. Have all your tools ready, especially the eraser, because you'll be correcting a lot at this point. So I know I'm going to cut the sun out of the corner, and then I want rays all along to come out. Now that I've drawn it all out, I think it's a little too busy. I'm going to need to make them wider. There, I think that looks a lot better. So what I'm going to be doing is taking my double-sided tape, making sure the horizon marks are lined up. This double-sided tape I purchased from Amazon. I will try to put it down in the description for the link. And you want to make sure you have enough pieces to secure it in each section. So you'll be using a lot of double-sided tape here. When it comes to double-sided tape, I would rather have too much than not enough. This is the tricky part. Making sure you get it exactly where you want it. There we go. Once it's stuck together. I'm also using packing tape in different spots around the edges just for another level of security. All right, I do not have a master copy here. This is my master copy. So as soon as I cut the individual pieces, I'm going to flip it over and number them. There are going to be 5 sections I'm going to be cutting. I'll cut this off first, then I'll cut off the sun section, this section, and this will be the 5th section. So you need to make sure to label them very clearly on the back because these will all get mixed up and you'll wonder where they fit. Before you start, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a brand new blade in. My blade of choice is a Pegas number 5R. Once you have it tight, make sure it is at a 90-degree angle with the table, because when you're cutting and you want to mix and match them, you don't want any kind of slant. Pegas blades do really good at cutting straight. Again, I am just cutting everything in sections. Start with this. This is the most simple, so I'm going to cut this part first. Before I continue on with my cutting, I am just going to put a little bit more tape on these pieces now that they are cut into big chunks. Just for the extra, especially this one. This doesn't have any tape on either side. And I just want to give it a little bit more support so it doesn't come apart on me. number 5. It's the bottom part of it. One more to write on the back of. Orientation and the number. I'm going to take a minute to show you this top part of this mountain area. If it did not have double-sided tape or something to secure both of them together, it could slip and throw your whole piece off. So notice that I have this little tiny piece of double-sided tape that was able to secure it so it would not shift. Something quick to point out, when you're cutting, if you have a slant on one side and a slight slant on the other, always cut from the flatter part. I must admit, sometimes the longest part of this process is removing all of the double-sided tape and the packing tape, but it is so necessary. I realize this is abstract art, and it might not be to everyone's liking, but it's just something that I wanted to do and create, and it really is a piece of art all on its own. Well, I am headed into doing my last big piece. Now this has got the sun in it, and when you are cutting rounds, you really need to be paying close attention to what you are doing, because it will be obvious if it is not round. So take your time when you do this part. Even though I make my own rounds myself for the hardwoods, this is just simple plywood, and I was able to get 3 of these for $9. I don't think I can make them to be cost effective, so I bought these at Hobby Lobby. This is a 10-inch round, and my pieces are 10.5-inch rounds, so that is about perfect. So it will just hang over just a little bit. Well, I've got everything in place. Obviously, I have some sanding to do, cleaning up to do, and adjusting to do. It's just a matter of taking some time and tweaking it. I have found quite a few pieces that I still had some tape on, and that's also the reason you're lightly sanding, is to get rid of any residue from the tape. And I'm not talking about changing the integrity of the piece. I'm just talking about removing anything that's going to be in the way of gluing it up. The glue that I am choosing for these first pieces is Titebond Quick and Thick. That means that it will take no time for it to glue on. Now, the rest of it I'm going to use a slower glue so that I can adjust. But these first couple pieces have to be set just right. And I've got a line right here where my first piece is going to be attached. You can use something other than your finger to smooth out the glue, but you know what? This works fine. This is what I'm going to be using. Time for my first piece. I've got it marked. So I'm going to put these, whoops, looks like I need some more glue on there. I'm going to put these pieces on, let them dry completely, and then add the rest of them with a slower glue. Alright, now I am using Titebond 3 because it is the longest drying glue, which will give me the most opportunity to adjust it if I need to. If there's any adjustment that needs to be made, I want the middle part to be as accurate as possible. And if the outside pieces aren't exactly perfect, then I can certainly sand that and adjust that. Make sure you have that glue all the way around the edges, because you're going to have pieces that are hanging over. And now it is time to fit it all together. Like I said, you're going to have a chance to shift it if necessary. I'm going to try to put this on pretty quick, and because I use that other glue, I can still shift them around a little bit. I will be going down to 220 grit for the top. At this point in time, I am not going to finish them. because I do not want the finish to get in the way of what I'm going to be gluing on top. So I will finish them once I finish the top part of the project. This right here is just paint thinner or mineral spirits that is getting rid of all of the residue, and look how pretty it is. All right, folks, I am going to stop this video right here with this backer board and segmentation. I hope this gives you some ideas on how you can use your segmentation and let your imagination run wild. I'm going to be doing another video putting the Cocopelli on top and finishing this project. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.